Hi, everybody. Welcome along to Percussion Discussion Podcast, episode 161. Before we get into it, please check out all of our social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, our world famous YouTube channel, where you can find all of the conversations, past and present. These have the video to accompany, so you can see us as well as hear us chatting away. Please subscribe, helps grow the channel. You won't find any adverts on there, so there's nothing going to get in the way of your watching and listening pleasure. If you'd rather listen on the go, then no problem. All of our conversations are available in podcast form. These are free to download from your podcast provider, your favorite one. So please rate and review if you can. Again, it helps like-minded drummers find us and hopefully enjoy what we do here at Percussion Discussion. On to today's guest. For the last few months now, my social media has been flooded with an amazing heavy metal band called Asomvel. These guys are from Harrogate in Yorkshire. They've been going a long time, but recently, I don't know what the way social media works. I've been seeing more and more of their posts, and I eagerly await the new post every day, which is like a real fly on the wall look at what they do, both on tour, in rehearsals, recording, and all sorts of random stuff. They're really entertaining, and I suggest checking them out. As well as being amazing musicians, they have great songs. They're an unsigned band at the moment. They've just done a huge tour supporting the mighty Airbourne, and they have a remarkable drummer. And I've thought, yeah, let's get a chat to this guy. So thankfully he's agreed. So here is a conversation I had with the wonderful Mr. Ryan Thackwray. Ryan, thanks so much for doing this, mate. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure. And it seems like for the last, I don't know, for the last 8, 12 months, all I've seen is your band on social media. And before we start, I have to say, you have the best social media presence
Yeah,
for a band ever. And, you know, regardless of whether you're into the music or not, it's really entertaining stuff. It's like watching a soap opera. And I mean that in a really good way. Was that something, have you like made like extra effort to do that? Or has that just kind of happened organically?
yeah. Well, it started. Ralph, the singer of the band, before I joined the band, he just started posting every day, just thinking of ideas to push the band out there, get the name known, and it just kind of stuck. And it's really worked. It's kind of like now it's like a little series. People are always wanting to come back and see what we're up to. But no, it's Ralph. He's the main man behind all that. He'd rather die than miss a day posting. So yeah, it's like I said, it's worked wonders. It's really pushed the band out there, and it's I'd say it's a massive part of where we are today because of that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I've heard of the band before, quite a while
yeah,
ago, probably before lockdown. And then, like
yeah,
a lot of bands, you kind of there's that many bands out there, you kind of forget. And then all of a sudden, I was reminded by these amazing posts, and you get back into it, and the way you do it, it's entertaining, it's real,
yeah,
it's just fun. And so, yeah, fair play. It's keep
yeah,
doing it because it's like it almost like you're waiting for it every day to come out. And
yeah.
it must have got you loads of new fans as well. It must have done.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the things that are on there. Things that get posted. It's no like acting or anything like that. It's just what we're doing. There's no like scripts or anything. It's like, oh, we're doing this today. Let's film it. Obviously on tours, you're doing that much stuff on a tour. You can spend the whole day filming. But there's always something to film, whether it's running through some guitar stuff, some drum stuff, some old live footage, or even announcements. We've had a few announcements recently. We've got a couple more coming up, so there's always stuff to film and just push out there and just keep the name going.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of on tour, you've just done a pretty sizable tour supporting Airbourne. Great
Yeah,
band. Now, there's one thing that instantly sort of made me think, you've pretty much got the same amount of gear, if not more, than Airborne as a support act, which is it's pretty unusual to be given that
Yeah.
kind of. Was that ever? Did it kind of come up at any point, like that you're turning up with as many marshals as they are and more drums?
Um, no, not really, because it's. I think, well, if anything, Airbourne kind of encouraged it. we
Really?
when we got announced on the tour, yeah, they were commenting on our post saying, get all these amps in the building, let's what was it, let's blow the roofs off or something. So to them, it was just, oh, let's get this support band who are doing what we're doing, and give everyone a good night. I mean, in total, I think there were like 28 cabs on stage, whilst we were playing, with our backline in there. So, and it was hard work, changeovers, getting all that gear off stage, and we managed to get it down to, I think it was like 4 minutes getting it off stage.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Wow.
we got it locked in. So, but no, it was great. Everyone walking into the venue that night, and there's we play. We've got our line of stacks, and then we get them off, and behind our stacks there's Airborne stacks. So it was a sight. It was a sight to see, really.
Because it's almost apart from I know Ryan O'Keefe plays a single bass, but apart from that,
Yeah,
you could be mistaken for going, was this is this Airborne set? Because
yeah,
but it's proper old heavy metal, proper. I mean, Airborne are the loudest band I've ever heard, bar none. And I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
certain you're not far behind them volume wise. And I know they take pride in their amps all being on. And
yeah,
are
yeah.
you guys the same?
Yeah, yeah, everything's running. Everything's running. It's yeah, and, yeah. We won't be using any dummy cabs or anything like that. It's all
It's all real.
everything's plugged in. Everything's turned up. So it's very loud on stage as well.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. So are you on wedge monitors on stage, or are you on in ears?
I'm on in ears,
Right.
so it kind of helps a little bit. But sometimes I still get, because I sit next to Ralph's bass cabs in some smaller venues. His bass cab can be 3 feet away from me, so it's like, but it's not usually too bad. It's always manageable.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tell us about the tour because it looked amazing and it looked like you were tearing the roof off everywhere you went. It looked
Yeah, no,
as well.
it's
So, I mean, what was it like? Was it great? Must have been a great experience.
oh yeah, yeah. It was no, it was brilliant. It was hard, what was it, 62 days in total.
Yeah.
It was a lot of wear and tear, but it was, yeah, we'd have kept going if we could. Big audiences, big venues, and just, yeah, like you said, the exposure to the band, and it was great.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I would do it all over again.
Did you shift plenty of merch as well along the way?
Yeah, yeah, we did. Some nights were good, some nights not so good. But no, in total, we sold out of quite a few lines. We only had, I think we could take 5 lines on this tour, and obviously we had to price match as well. So yeah, we didn't do too bad. We did all right on merch.
But do you know what? What a perfect match for Airborne. You just
Yeah,
they just you go hand in hand, don't you? It's absolutely it couldn't be any more perfect that. Um,
yeah,
and obviously that's why you were on there. You're pretty close musically, aren't you? Let's be honest.
yeah. I'd say it's like, well, as everyone was saying, it's like going to see AC/DC and Motorhead. It's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's kind of a big selling point for a lot of people, I think. And it was, people were coming up to us saying it's the best show they've ever been to. We couldn't have been a better match for Airborne. So it was great, really, really good.
Looked incredible. And yeah, I bet you didn't want it to end as well.
Yeah.
But there was a great video of the tour bus that you were on.
Oh yeah.
So that was I really enjoyed that one as well. So you weren't slumming it too much, were you? Either,
No, no.
you know.
No, it was nice. It was nice being on a bus and not having to be sleeping and sat up in a van all night to the next venue. Getting into a proper bed and waking up at the venue the next day. It was a luxury. Can't ask for more, really.
Yeah. And Have you got a pretty big crew then? Because obviously you've got a lot of kit to get away, drums and
Yeah.
amps. So how many did you take out with you?
We had one guitar tech, front of house, and a merch guy, and that was
Oh,
it.
wow. Okay. So do you do your own drums then, or have you got somebody?
No, I'll do it myself.
Wow, that's
So luckily we had stagehands. Roger, who's Airbourne's drum tech, he was helping me get stuff off. But yeah, we're very limited on crew, and that's just from being an independent band. Um, we haven't had the privilege of having crew handed to us, so we're kind of running at the minimum. But we'll do what we can to make it work, and
yeah.
we had a good system. We were tired. At the end of the night, we were all pretty knackered, but we got through, and it we were all in good spirits. So it kept us going.
Yeah, because that's a lot of stuff to load into a van into a truck at the end of the night, isn't it? It's not like you
Yeah,
two tuba 12s, a bass amp, and a 4-piece kit. That's
yeah, it was a lot of
commitment.
gear. That trailer was rammed on its ass.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it was. I
So
bet it was. But it looked amazing, I have to say, and
yeah,
just great stuff. So let's talk a bit about you. So what's your kind of earliest memories of music? And I mean, forget drums for now. Music usually appears before the drums anyway, doesn't it? So let's go back to your kind of, early days.
yeah. I suppose it was when I don't know, when I could start, when I understood what music was. My parents had a mixed taste in music. My dad was into like a lot of like dance music,
Okay.
and my mum's favorite band is Slipknot, believe it or not.
Ah,
So we had a kind of a weird upbringing of music. So I was always into like my favorite band were like Foo Fighters when I
mm,
was, probably the start of secondary school, and then I started getting into more heavier stuff. Um, you know, like like Bring Me the Horizon back in the day. A lot of like American bands, like Born of Osiris, wearing a t-shirt,
oh
if
yeah,
you've
yeah,
heard
yeah,
of
yeah.
them. A
Yeah.
lot of like Sumerian Records bands. Um, and yeah, just yeah, I suppose that's what influenced most of my drumming style. Really, was
Mm.
all this metal music when I started playing drums. That is, and yeah, today I listen to mainly metal music, but I like pretty much anything. Just I'm not into like charts and all that crap, but I'm pretty open to anything, and I always have been.
Yeah.
Again, when I was younger, I never used to like, back then it was like, what was it, fucking S Club 7 and all that, which I don't actually mind now, but,
Oh, fair
back
play
then
to
it
you. Hey,
was,
admitting that, mate. That's I can't stand it. I'll be honest. It's horrible. I struggle with mentioning music and stuff like that in the same way. But there we go. Everyone's different, and I hope you don't live to regret saying that.
I already am, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can't cut that out now. I'm sorry. But. Yeah. I mean, so obviously, you're a lot younger than I am. I can tell from the fact that Foo Fighters were your first. I was I was way before that. But so when was drums a thing? When did you go? That's what I'm gonna do.
It was probably when I was about 13, maybe.
Mm.
When I got into secondary school, I always wanted to play guitar. And actually, well, I wanted to play bass for some stupid, I don't know why. But yeah, bass was kind of what I wanted to play. But I met my friend at school and he played drums. And I kind of got into it there. And then we used, like at school, we had, like the music room drum kit. Used to go mess about on that. And I quite enjoyed it. I thought, I quite like this. And then pestered my mum for I don't know how long about getting a drum kit, and then she finally caved, and then yeah, pretty much got that home and never stopped playing it. Um, and it's just what I wanted to do. There wasn't, back then I was into like skateboarding and all that, and I used to love. I did that for years and years, and then when I started playing drums, everything kind of I didn't want to do anything else, and just not really put my. I just enjoyed it. it wasn't like I wanted to do it. It's just, I was a teenage boy, and it was just what I wanted to do. I'd like rush home from school to play drums, and I suppose that's where it properly started.
Yeah.
And then I joined my first band, just a couple of mates on my street. My brother who played bass at the time, and we just used to mess around in the bedroom, and then you know did that for a bit. Joined another band, just kind of worked up the ladder of joining different bands, and it's kind of stuck from there, really.
Just a bit. Did you have any lessons, or did you kind of just do it yourself?
No, self-taught. Never had a lesson. So,
well, you've kind of done all right. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I'll be honest. And was it always like so? Who was like the number one drummer for you to kind of take your inspiration from at the time?
Well, it's going to sound weird, but it was always like I'd listen to a band, and I wasn't really interested in the person playing the drums. It was always about like how the drums sounded, if that makes sense. It wasn't. I'd hear like a specific fill, or like it'd be even something stupid like they'd hit like a ride bell or something. I'd be like, oh, I like the sound of that, and it never crossed my mind to think who's playing that. I was more interested in like, oh, I wonder what cymbal that is, or like what kit is using. So yeah, it's when people ask who influenced me, it's really hard because to say that it was like sounds that influenced me, but
no, I get it.
I don't know. It's like I listen to a lot of like Avenged Sevenfold, what's it, the Rev?
Yeah.
Again, when I first heard, is it Backcountry?
Yeah.
The snare on that first bit, that was like what I remember. It absolutely blew my mind when I first heard that, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" And then listening to that album, I was like, "Yeah." So I suppose, yeah, he would be one of them. And then a lot of the bands that are these Sumerian bands that the drummers from there. It's I remember I went to see Born of Osiris in a cockpit in Leeds.
Oh yeah.
And who else? But the Faceless, if you've heard of them. I don't know if they're still going, but
not sure about those.
I can't remember who played drums at the time. But again, he was. I'd heard the band, but I didn't know who played drums for them. I remember watching him, and it just blew me away. It was just like I'd get home and I'd be like searching, for this drummer, and then watching all his videos and wanting to learn the techniques that they're using. Yeah. So yeah, it just took a lot of influence from like the sounds as well as
that's good. That's a really unique. It's a unique way of doing it. That, and I like that. It sounds great to me. So. And then was it always double bass from the start, or did you start on single and then get the double pedal and the usual route?
Yeah. So I started playing, then I wanted a pretty much straight away. I got a Tamarind Cobra. I've still got it now. Actually, it's somewhere knocking about. But yeah, I got into that, and I loved it. When I first started using it, I was like, oh, I've got like an extra foot here to add, and it's it was brilliant. It was like an extra tool to make things sound better. So
amazing. Because when you hear it, the band gels, it's such a tight thing. Do you from your videos, it almost looks like you live in that super impressive rehearsal space / studio. It looks like you're there 24/7, how much time do you actually spend in there as a band, would you say?
A lot. Well, at the moment we're doing all our demos. We're in the studio next week, so we spend pretty much every day in there getting things sorted out. Leading up to the tour with Airbourne, again, every day we were rehearsing most days. Just doing everything that we needed to do. Like working out logistics. Whenever we do any like planning meetings, we're in there. So we spend a lot of time in there. Like I said, most days we're down there, trying to look busy most of the time, but things are happening.
Sure. And tell us about the space, because it looks, I know you're not a new band. You've been going quite a while. Things have happened along the way, which people will know about. Um, but the space you can see bands that have got 15 albums out who haven't got a space like that. So
Yeah.
tell us about it. I mean, what is it? Is it like local to you, and is it in like a industrial unit or something, or?
Yeah, so it's in an industrial unit. The guys, like I said before I joined, their vision was they wanted to, have this. They didn't want to be queuing up outside a rehearsal room waiting for the other band to come out. So they just, from however many years ago, they just worked their asses off to, with their own business and. To the point where they were like, right, we can start piecing this place together. We can get a little unit, we can start building it up. You know, I just did it step by step to where it is now, and it's their hard work is a result of what is in that room.
And do you know what? I mean, you look at it and you're just filled with like just envy straight away. Like, oh my God, look at that. I mean that in a nice way. I don't mean it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh, it's incredible. I mean, is it one room, or have you got like offshoot rooms and stuff? I can't remember. I know
it's
main.
It's just that one room.
Yeah.
It's quite like a long. It's not not specifically wide, but long, which is good because we can fit all the cabs down. If you've seen the video, it's so it's just the one room, but it's got everything in there what we need. All our obviously all our rehearsal stuff. Got a little desk in there for where we're doing the demos at the minute. My electric kit's in there, so we can do a silent rehearsal throughout the day. Don't annoy the neighbours.
Yeah.
It's pretty kitted out for everything what we need at the minute, so it's perfect.
It just looks just incredible, and it's great for social media stuff, isn't it? The fact that you've got amps everywhere. You've got, and I saw the video of you playing on the electric drums. Are they Yamaha or Roland? I'm not sure.
Roland.
Roland, yeah.
Yeah, Roland.
And it was quite cool because it showed you playing them without the audio, and then with the, and it was like, wow, because it always looks ridiculous hearing an electric kit without any noise. And then you hear it, and it's like, Do you find it a weird transition to go from electric to acoustic, or does it quite natural for you?
I used to, because my old electric kit was a lot smaller, so the drum pads were like a lot smaller. I think they were all 10-inch.
Yeah.
Whereas this one that I've got that is in that video, I got that. I think it was like November last year. It's a lot bigger. It feels a lot more realistic. But I actually measured. Like the height of the cymbals on my real kit. So it wasn't, if anything, I actually moved stuff on my electric kit a bit further away. So when I get back onto it, I'm not like, it doesn't feel like I'm moving more on the electric kit than what I am on my real kit.
Yeah.
So it's one thing that I never even thought about until it was a couple of years ago, actually, like you mentioned then, when I had my electric kit set up at home. And I could play it all day, no problem. I'd go to my real kit and I'd be fucking sweating out my ass after like 10 minutes. I'm like, what is going on? Then I was like, well, my arm's moving from here. I'm having to do a big swing, whereas on my electric kit, I'm like this. So this moment in time, no, it's not too bad. The transition, it's all right. It always feels different because it's the mesh heads are a lot different to real heads, but it's not too bad. No, it's now that I've positioned stuff where it wants to be, it's fine.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you for just purely for demo purposes, you use the E drums because I guess it's easier than and you can do it all day long without annoying people and the sound. Let's be honest, the sounds are still pretty amazing, aren't they? It's not. I know it's not an acoustic kit, but it's a lot closer than it used to be.
Yeah, nowadays, I did a quick demo the other day actually, and I was listening to it back and I was thinking, I don't even need to go into the studio and record drums, just fucking do it on this electric kit because it sounds, any professional would be like, oh well, that's fucking, that's an electric kit, but to anyone else, they've been on the wiser. So, the technology now on the electric kits is it's just amazing. You know, it's the sound you can get out of them. It's just, you know, it's like I said, you sometimes can't even tell.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Oh, it really is. And yeah, it's just every time, honestly, I can't. So every time I can see that you've come up, obviously I follow you on Facebook and it's got a new post and it's like, oh, here we go. Let's see what's cooking today. And it's quite original. As I say, I know you say it's just the way it is and what happens. And, but I love it. I think it's really refreshing. Not many bands are doing it like that. So, I hope,
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll work out in your benefit anyway. And tell me,
yeah.
because obviously, it's tough, being a band at any point. Are you all able to kind of make your living without having to do any other stuff? Because I know many bands, musicians have to do bits of things here, be it teaching or bit of whatever. Are you able to get by and with just gigging and everything else?
Yeah, it's it's hard. Like we'll have to look at like little day jobs here and there.
Of course.
But it's get by. Just enough. It's trying to take it to that next level at the minute. Of finding some kind of label or whatever
Mm.
when we get this new album written to kind of push us to that next point where we can it we're in a position where we're like, oh yeah, we can make a living off this now.
Mm.
But it's just teetering on that point at the minute of what we're going to do next in terms of like I said, label and management. So yeah, we get by just
Well, I tell you what. So your albums that you've put out, have you put those out yourself then? So you're not signed to a label?
yeah, all independent. Yeah,
Oh, I find that amazing.
yeah,
I mean, I find that absolutely jaw-dropping that you're not signed. And that's not me
yeah.
blowing smoke up your ass. That's just a stone cold fact. Um, wow. I don't think it'll be long, Ryan, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it'd be nice. That's what I mean. This new album, we've got no date to get it done yet. Like I said, we're going to do 2 singles next week. But the real push is this next album. Released one last year.
Great
And then
album, by the way. Yeah.
that was the first album that I've played on. And then the album before, I think it was 2019. I think it was a World Shaker album. I'm
That's
sure it
the
was
one. That's the one I
2019.
heard first. That's where I was first aware of it.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's and they got a couple prior to that as well. But now it's time to try and get the distribution. Get it shipped out to the right people. Um, that's the next step really. Getting in it, just getting some kind of backing.
Yeah. That's really eye-opening that when you get a band of the quality of yours, with a great show, e- everything
Yeah,
is everything is polished, everything's ready to go, and unsigned. That's crazy. Wow. I'm quite shocked by that. I really am. Um, but all credit to you for just getting on doing it and, making them have it anyway. So tell me,
yeah.
how did you get the gig with the band, I should say?
So it was one of my mates actually. He said, "Oh, this band are looking for a drummer." Because at this point, this was 2023.
Hmm.
I wasn't in any band or anything. And so he showed me the advert, and they were from Harrogate, where we're all from.
Mm.
And I never even heard of the band actually. And I had a look into them. I thought, "Oh, right, okay, it'd be nice to get back into drumming." So I sent them a message on Facebook, and they said, "Yeah, come up and have a chat." So I went up, um, went away, learned a couple of songs, went back, played them, and it was like we just kind of gelled. It just kind of everything clicked. I didn't think they were knobheads. They didn't think I was a knobhead. Well, I probably did, but they won't tell me that. And yeah, I don't know. It just kind of like it just was kind of the right thing to do for both of us. For both parties. They needed a drummer. I wanted to start. I wanted to play drums. So it just we all had the same vision. The same enthusiasm. And that was it really. It was as simple as that.
Yeah.
Because it's it always struggles to find band members. You know, the bands that have been in the past, it only takes one member to bring the whole thing down.
Mm.
So, walking into this, it was like everyone was on the same page. It was like, right, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do that, fuck off, basically.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that we still have today. It's like everything is 100% moving forward. On full. It's there's no stopping really. It's kind of full steam ahead all the time,
Yeah.
and it's how it should be really now in our eyes. It's otherwise there's no point doing it.
Yeah.
If you're only going to put in even 90%, there's no point. So it's all of us having that same mindset has just kept us going to where we are now, and we see where it can take us.
That comes across in everything you do, every video clip. That it's a team, it's a real team, isn't it? It's not individuals, that's for sure. It's fantastic, and it just makes me smile. Obviously, I've been to Harrogate many times. Sleepy Harrogate, Betty's Tea Room, and all this business.
Yeah.
And is it Betty's in Harrogate?
It is, yeah.
There's one in York as well, isn't there? And then all of
there is, yeah.
You've got this this band tearing it up. Is there much of a music scene in Harrogate?
Yeah, I suppose there is. It's like local bands.
Yeah.
I can't think of any big names that have come out of Harrogate. There are some, but I just can't think. Yeah, there's live music. Most weekends in bars and pubs and stuff. They have like rock nights at certain pubs. So yeah, the music scenes it's not too bad really. Not obviously nothing like what you get in Leeds or York, but there is a scene. I don't think for us we wouldn't fit in, but there's definitely it's not bad. Yeah, there's stuff going on.
Oh, amazing! And speaking of gigs, you've got a tour coming up is it September? Headline tour.
Yeah, that's right. I think the last 2 days in August and then September. Yeah, that's right.
And is that a fairly decent sized tour as well? Is it UK tour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's UK. Yeah. It's we're hitting a lot of places that we hit on our last UK tour in April last year, but bigger venues.
Yeah.
So it's just pushing to try and sell these out. I think it's not done too bad ticket sales, so we'll continue to push that, try and get it sold out, and then revisit again at bigger venues next year.
It must be nerve-wracking when when you kind of go up a venue size, and is it something you do? Do you check? Do you ring up and say, "How's the tickets going? What's happening?" Or is it just it'll be what it'll be? There's nothing you can do, is there? Either way,
I think it's. I think it all just relies on that promotion. Having this social media presence and just absolutely hammering people with the announcements and this tour in particular with just putting the flyers out there. The UK shows with Airbourne, we printed off some leaflets, put them in toilets, put them on the bars in the venues, and we promote it all the time. We do videos every other week of don't forget we're doing this tour in September. Get your tickets, whatever. So I think, a lot of it is just heavily reliant on the promotion from ourselves and the promoters and the venues. And but no, I suppose it is nerve wracking, because some of the venues we played last year were only, I think the one in Glasgow was like 150 capacity, and it was rammed, like it was mad. It was probably one of the maddest shows I've played. But this time the venue we're playing, I think it's about 500, 550 something. So it's a big step up.
It's huge.
But when we hit Glasgow on the Airbourne tour, it was people were screaming us. We had a Asomvel chant going halfway through the set. So I think ticket sales jumped quite a lot after that. So yeah, it would be nice to sell them out. So it's just it's just a case of just promoting it as much as we can, just making as many people as aware. You
Sure.
know.
Well, I'll make sure to include all the tour dates in the like the show notes for this as well, so anybody watching
Oh, nice one.
can have a look and hopefully get along and see, you know. And it
Yeah,
seems
nice
like you've
one.
got like a real connection with the people who come and see you as well. You know, you don't hide away and
Yeah,
you're out there with them having a beer, whatever it
yeah.
may be. So that makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it's we'll always be out to meet people. Again, after the shows of Airbourne, we'd be at our merch. Some nights were mad. It's like you signing two pens in one hand. Um, but no, we'll always make time for fans because it's as an independent band, it's your life blood in it. Really, you need them. Well, every band does, but um, it's just nice that people are actually wanting to meet you, and just it doesn't hurt. Just give them a little bit of time, just to
No.
have a chat, sign something. Um, it's something we'll always do. It might be difficult one day, but no, we'll always try and meet as many fans as we can.
Yeah. Well, it's working, isn't it? You know, you sort of climbing your way up the ladder, and I really hope this tour does well and sells for you because that's
Yeah.
going to be, you know, it's going to be a real ego boost for you. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but you're going to, you know, you can
Uh,
actually see that the work is paying off, and
yeah.
that's that's got to be worth everything, hasn't it? That just to see
Oh,
that.
definitely. Yeah. When we start seeing, when we start seeing things paying off, it's kind of like that. It pushes us more. Like we don't drop off and think, oh, well, we've done that. Like again, this Airborne tour. We got this tour. um, we got home from it, and it wasn't like, oh, let's have a month off of not doing anything. It's like, right, what next? What? Let's just keep it going. Let's not have a dip. Just keep it going. Keep it on that
Yeah.
upward hill. So
And if you, I'm sure you'll have support on your tour anyway. Will you be as nice to the support bands as Airborne were with you?
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
good.
mean, the band we've got, it's Red Wine Ride, who were on our previous tour last
All
year.
right. Okay.
Um, and no, they're good. Actually, the guitarist Padge, he came with us on the Airborne tour as our guitar tech.
Brilliant.
So we're good friends with them.
That's good.
We love them. So it should be good. I don't know if we have any additional support for any shows. I'm not too sure what the deal is with that, but no, we're just happy to meet anyone. We don't want to be that band that just because we've done something bigger and better than someone else, we don't put ourselves up here. Everyone's the same, and I, not one of us in this band have that thought process of arrogance or anything like that. We just see everyone the same. We're all there to do the same thing. There's no point separating yourself from the rest because we're just here to have a good time.
Yeah. And I think, you know, people see that and like it, and that's what draws them to you as well. I mean, as well as the great music, you know. And let's
Yeah,
talk about the music. I mean, there's an obvious Motorhead influence in there. That's for all to see and hear, and that's not a bad thing by any means. But you know, I also hear some Anvil in there. I don't know if you've ever heard any Anvil or not.
yeah. I've
I,
heard a couple of
I hear a bit of Anvil in there and a bit of. So that's obviously just the coming together of all of your influences, and it works great. It really does. It's just you know, I'm a fan. Simple as that. What more can I say? There's one more thing I want to ask. How did you get on with Ryan O'Keefe from Airborne? All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's a decent guy. Yeah. We had a lot of chats, and no, he's a nice bloke.
Yeah.
They all of them. They're just again, they're just out to have a good time.
Yeah.
It was just nice that every night was sold out. Everyone was, just loving it. It was just a nice tour to be on, really. It was he gave me some good advice some nights, and
He's
it
a
was
hard
it was
hitter, isn't
nice.
he?
He is, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he gives it some. Yeah, I think he has the Kevlar snare head on his snare, and He has like doesn't he have like some sticks with no tips on or something? Or I can't remember.
Yeah, I think he's yeah one. Yeah, I think he's like snare. It might be wrong, might be the way around. I can't remember. But yeah, one of his sticks. Yeah, it's got no tip on it.
Like
It's
a baseball
just a
bat.
yeah.
Ah, no. Hey, look, Ryan, this has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, mate. And honestly, I wish you all the best in the world. I really do. And it's
Thanks,
going to be,
thank you.
I watch with interest and excitement to kind of see where it takes you all, because you deserve it as more than any band I think I've ever seen at the level you're at. You work hard and you entertain us with the social media. So keep doing that. And yeah, just keep the great music coming. So thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
And
No, thank
good
you
luck,
for
mate.
having me.
That's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And I'll see you soon, I hope. Take care, mate.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, you
All
too.
right.
Cheers.
Take care, mate.